Hello, YouTubers. This is Frank the Vamp. Welcome to World Cinema Reviews. Today, we're doing another one of our Versus series. When we take a foreign movie and we talk about the foreign movie, but we also talk about its American remake. And today, we've got a treat for you. We're going to talk about the Spanish 2007 film Wreck and the American Counterpart Quarantine in 2008. Before I start talking about the film, I'm actually going to take a controversial stand because by watching a lot of YouTube videos and also read some critic reviews, uh, there's a majority of people that are of the impression that that the original Wreck, it's the best film by far. I actually going to say that I sort of agree, but I actually like Quarantine just as much. A lot of people are going to say sacrilege about this, but I'm going to explain to you why. I hope I'm clear, I'm concise about this, and before I start talking about why, been talking to other YouTubers about this, and um, I seem to get the consensus that a remake shouldn't be made if it's not necessary. Uh, for example, if they don't see that if it's already a perfect film, it shouldn't be remade. And there's just so many examples of this. I just recently watched the Total Recall new movie with Colin Farrell, and that was heinous. That was horrible. Uh, Arnold Schwarzenegger's you know cool, thrilling, futuristic action film was so cool. This remake was just total garbage, man. And I know it tried to take a different stand, and yeah, so it's another one that was really, really heinous. It's the what was this film? Oh, Psycho. Psycho, the original by Alfred Hitchcock. It's as close to the perfect horror film that you ever see. It's beautiful. It's just awesome. The great Anthony Perkins with his acting and his greatness, unmatched. Uh, Unmatched. You just can't be done. And to make a shot-by-shot remake by Vince Vaughn and as Norman Bates is just that is sacrilegious. It's just you know I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw it, I actually didn't think it was that bad. But the more time that it went on, and it says it's basically just the same film. Why was it made? There's no point to it. You can enhance on this. You're just gonna lessen it. And I comprehended over time. Uh, Having said that, I think that there's one great reason to make a remake. It's when the original is not as well known. And this is the case of Quarantine. You see, I totally missed the original Wreck. And Quarantine brought that to my attention, which brought my interest on watching the original film, Wreck. So if it wasn't for Quarantine, I probably hadn't seen Wreck. I probably would have seen it later after I got more into foreign films, especially foreign horror films. But it wouldn't have been uh, as accentuated as it was. So um, Quarantine is almost is very close to a shot-by-shot remake. But it has a few differences, and there's one big one. Um, but let's talk about the individual films, and we'll talk about the differences. But before I start, like I said, let's come together and say this: they're both great. They're both great. I really like them both. I thought the idea was really unique. Now there's just too many found footage films that they're so horrible. Boogeyman Band, shout out to him, most awesome guy ever. If you look at my history, he's probably in so many of the videos because he's so cool. He's so awesome, man. Boogeyman Band, he has a great. He shares that belief with me that there's just too many found footage films today. Blair Witch Project, awesome. You have you have so many Paranormal Activity, the original Paranormal Activity, pretty cool. Quarantine and Reg, awesome. But all of a sudden, people started abusing this genre, and they started doing it over and over. They didn't use much imagination. They kind of just keep copying each other and making it really lousy. The new Paranormal Activities are almost unwatchable. I I, I mean, to me, they're bargain 25 cent, well, maybe $1 film, maybe a $2 Blu-ray. It's not worth the film it's printed on. If there's anything, well, actually, there's no there's no more things. There's no such thing as film anymore. I mean, digital media, whatever is printed on, it's not good. It's just awful. But oh well. I'm rambling along. Going back to the films. Let's talk a little bit about them. I'll tell you about the differences and why they're both must sees and you must really enjoy them. And I'm thinking that's why I'm making a video about it. So let's talk about Quarantine. Well, Quarantine is the latter film, 2008, directed by John Eric Dowdy, and starring Jennifer Carpenter as a beautiful reporter, and overall cool guy and pretty cool actor, Jay Hernandez. Man, if you guys seen Hostel, he's all over Hostel and many other cool films. But I thought that dude's pretty cool. So awesome. Um, Now the 2007 Rec is directed by Jaume Balaguero and Paco Plaza, starring the beautiful Manuela Velasco. Since this is a pretty much, it's almost an identical film. The plot is like this: a reporter and her cameraman, uh, they're going to this ride along with the fire department, and they're going on a fire truck, going around, doing what firemen do. So it starts like much of what a reality show would be like. So what do you do? How do you have fun? How do what type of life does a fireman live? How interesting it is, how fast you have to react and get dressed to fight fires. Also, explore a little bit about the fact that firemen don't actually mostly don't fight fires. They do other things. They do a lot of CPRs, a lot of ENT work, a lot of medical emergencies. A lot of rescue operations. They assist the police in many things. So it's kind of really interesting. So you start getting into it. So you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Um, However, they're calling to an assistance this apartment building when this recluse, kind of crazy old woman has locked herself inside her apartment. When they go into the apartment, pretty much they see her in a real bad state. She's sort of bloody and she's soiled herself and she looks in an awful, awful state. So the camera's staying back a little bit. Meanwhile, the EMTs and the firemen are getting close and saying, "Look, no, don't freak out. We're here to help you. We're going to take you to a hospital." So it's almost like, oh, this woman is pretty much gone senile. She lost her mind and she needs medical assistance. But then she turns rabid. She turns, real, real violent, bites somebody off to a point where, um, where she threatens the life of one of the EMTs. They rush the EMT, try to get the get this injured person some help, and then they have a really unpleasant surprise when they try to leave, that there is no way out. They've been quarantined. by some kind of health organization. They don't really know why, but they're told that they can't leave, and there's cops outside, forcing them to stay, and it becomes crazy as moments later, another one of the firemen seems to be thrown and almost murder, from the top of the stairs in the building, and panic sets in. The survivors, the people inhabiting, and the paramedics, and the cameraman, and the reporter. You know, they're going into they're going into a panic. So how they're going to escape? And then later on, here comes the plot start. Without spoiling anything. But whatever that woman had and bite somebody, it seems to be infectious, and the other people who has been bitten become infected and start attacking other people. So you get your standard zombie movie type of start, type of thing. 28 days later, George Romero's filling your line here. What makes this film unique, though, it's just that back then it's one of the found footage was not used very much, so that made it unique, and it has truly creepy moments. Really enjoyed the night vision stuff at the end. It's really really creepy, and there's some the shaking of the camera, the things like that. That now it's commonplace. Back then it wasn't, and it really added to the creepy factor. So it's really really cool. Well, that's the plot. Now, some differences and some cool things. Let me tell you why I love those two films equally. First of all, let's give a plus point to Rec with the reporter. She's hot. The actress, oh my gosh, man, she is completely stunner. What's her name? Manuela Velasco. Oh, Mujer Bella. She's awesome, and I think she's a pretty good actress, man. She's really fights for what she thinks, um, should be, and I totally understand why she seems to be. She wants to capture everything. She doesn't want the police to eliminate her film founding. She thinks it's all unfair. She's fighting for her life. And she's I'm a former journalist myself, so I know what it is, to be pushed around when somebody doesn't want to give you your freedom of the press. So I totally buy it for her. Now, no offense to Jennifer Carpenter, who makes in Quarantine a really pretty cool argument, but she's just not as beautiful. And her acting is good, not impressive. So the acting plus the beauty, Miss Velasco, Senorita Velasco wins, hands down. Now, supporting characters, Jay Hernandez on Quarantine, pretty cool, man. That dude's cool. I don't know what it is about him, but he's just like, it's the same. He has that hero type of quality. You look up to this guy, and there's a surprise twist about what happens to Mr. Hernandez. Yeah, sort of the Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, happens on that shark movie that I can't seem to think about what. Oh, the Big Blue Sea, the Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, sort of that thing. So look it up, or watch the film better. Now, the ending. Um, yeah, the ending. There's some religious stuff on Rec about demonic possession. That's the cause of it. Quarantine focus more of a medical outbreak and um, somebody experiments gone wrong, type of deal. I don't have any problem with them both. Some people really have a problem and they took out the religious stuff for Quarantine. What's the big deal, man? It's just an explanation. You just wanted to see why it happened. So whatever your cup of tea, you can't go wrong with both films. Um, there's not much else to say other than I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you. Take care. Sweet dreams, and watch these two films with the lights off. From me to you, adios. And take care, my friends.